I think I'm on. Right, okay. Look, a huge thanks to you, Sakina, for those words. I haven't got to say anything now. I could just pack up and go home. You just laid out our entire vision, our strategy for the coming, not just 2 weeks, or even this election campaign, actually, but the leadership team that we're going to bring together in order to take our union on the next stage of its fantastic journey. I just want to say a huge thanks to all of you, every single one of you, and indeed to all of those that are in your workplaces, your branches, your homes, that couldn't be with us tonight. And there are many, many hundreds of people that would have wanted to be with us right now, but can't for whatever reason. And so just a huge thanks to all of you for what you've done. I'll come back and I'll say a few more words about that. But I just wanted to start off by saying it's you, each and every single one of you that inspires and motivates me to do what I do. And you've inspired me for the last 39 years of my life. My union gave me hope. It gave me an opportunity to be a different person. It's put its arm around me. And that's what motivates me now to take my next step in this journey, which is to try to become, of course, with your help, our next General Secretary, and to put our collective arm around each and every one of you and all those millions of working people out there that are yet to find their collective voice inside our union or the appropriate union, whatever it is, but to build our movement. So a huge thanks to every single one of you for everything that you do, and especially all of those that are joining us for the first time tonight. And many of those may be joining us for the first time because of the man to my right on my screen, and that, of course, is Howard Beckett. And I want to say a few words about my friend, my mate, Howard, because, you know, we've been in a contest up until this point, and we've had our own campaigns. We've got a lot of shared common platforms. We wanted to take our union in a particular direction. We absolutely are determined to keep our union on the left and to oppose any rightward shift that would undermine so much of what we fought so hard to deliver over the course of not just the last 10 years in terms of Len's leadership, or even the last 15 years in terms of Unite, but through our working lives. You know, we're dedicated to changing society, to building that new, fairer, more equal, right now, that greener society as well. And Howard has made, well, he's made a decision last week to support me now in this campaign and to withdraw his own campaign, his own self, from the race to become General Secretary. And I know that that wasn't easy for Howard. I know that that was a difficult conversation. I want to thank Howard personally and publicly for what he's done, because that selfless act now puts us in pole position out of a previous scenario where we had 4 people in a race. Nobody believed that Gerard Coyne would make it onto the ballot paper, but Gerard did make it onto the ballot paper. And when he did, we had to sit down and we had to try to reach an accommodation. And I'm incredibly pleased that Howard was the first one to do that, the only one up until this point to do that, of course, but the one that came and sat down and worked with us on a common platform that we'll now take forward together to win this election, but not just to win this election, but to lead our union. So I'm incredibly proud, honoured and pleased to be able to introduce Howard Beckett to you tonight and to give Howard the floor. I know Howard wants to say a few words, so I want to give him the floor to say whatever he wants to say right now, and then I'll come back in and continue with my contribution. So very, very welcome, Howard, and all of your team that have joined us tonight. Brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Round of applause. I can clap. I can be heard. Listen, thank you very much, Steve, for those words. And thank you for the invitation for myself tonight and others from my campaign who are now part of the campaign to deliver Steve as General Secretary. And as Steve has said, you know, throughout this campaign, we've had differences in respect of emphasis, but we've always known that Steve and I are on the left of our union and the importance of keeping our union on the left going forward. So for all of us, in respect of our wish to try and talk about our own vision, to talk about our own leadership and why we should be the General Secretary of Unite, everything had to change as soon as Gerard Coyne made the ballot paper, because the reality for all of us is that the role of our union in society, the role of our union within our movement has to be on the left. To lose our union at this moment in time to the right wing, coming out of crisis, to lose our union for perhaps 10 years would be a catastrophic amount of damage for working class people, something that none of us should be prepared to have on our conscience. The importance at this moment in time of stepping forward. And Steve referenced my stepping forward, but Steve showed leadership in respect of this, in welcoming the conversation and making sure that our manifestos could become a joint manifesto for our union going forward, in welcoming our ideas about modernising our union, taking our union forward with Unite TV, ensuring that we now have a decentralised union, one that talks of federalism within our nations and makes sure that we are ahead of the game in respect of ensuring that our members have their own voice, one that leans towards branch democracy and makes sure that we discuss membership rates and how we can bring membership rates down for precarious work in particular, and one that talks about gender rights and anti-racism being through everything that we do as a union, not separate departments, but being embedded within our organising strategy. So as we're organising in workplaces where we know there's a gender pay gap and organising in those sectors where we know there is racism, real leadership has been shown in order to bring us together, in order to fight for the future of our union. And whenever I talk about the future of our union, and I would ask everybody on the Zoom tonight, everybody who's watching, please let's conduct ourselves, and I know we will, as a positive campaign about what we offer for our union going forward. Nothing that needs to be negative, but it is important that we reference the differences between candidates. It is important at this moment in time that we talk about a candidate who has been in every role that our union has asked him to play. It is important that we talk of a candidate who understands our industrial as much as our political and as much as our international. It is important that we talk about a union not being micro, not solely placed in the workplace, but a union that talks also for retired members and community members. It is important that we talk of our international role, of our role in respect of politics of society. It is important that we talk of education and how bringing departments together we can find the champions of our regions and our nations, our workplaces and our communities, and we can give them the strength to go forward on that journey where they become not just an activist, but also a rep, an organizer, an officer, a rep in wider society. And that is why Steve's candidature is now unique on that ballot paper. Notice the word now there. Now unique on that ballot paper, offering a wide vision of our union, experience in respect of everything that our union does, and vitally no stepping back. You know, Steve referenced the last 10 years of what we've achieved under Len's leadership. And during that 10 years, Unite has become a force for good in society. We have become a buttress for the left in society. We have been something that the establishment fears. Nobody talks about the General Secretary election of any other union apart from Unite. And the reason for that is that they know the role that we can play in society going forward. They know that if we can transform ourselves into this modern union, make sure that we decentralize, they know the power that Unite can be going forward, and that will be a force for the left going forward. And I'll finish by saying this, I'm a great one for quotes. I love quotes. From Gandhi saying that poverty is violence, from Nelson Mandela saying that if you can teach somebody to be a racist, you can educate them not to be racist. From quotes everywhere, but the quote that most strikes me right here now is Martin Luther King, who said that the arc of history is long, but it tends to lean towards justice. This, comrades, is our stretch towards justice. This is not the time to expose our union to the right wing or to expose our union to singular messages. This is the time now for us to be strong and ambitious, to be the voice for working class communities as much as workers in the workplace. This is the time for us to make sure that our departments do not work in silos, but come together to show the true strength of Unite. Our organising, working with our industrial, working with our political and working with our education. This is time now for us to give a platform to the most vulnerable in society. This is a time for us to tell people that 1% for the NHS, precarious work, 0-hour contracts are all because of the politics of the society that you live in. And it is Unite who will provide the voice for people, and it is Unite that will provide the platform for people, and it is Unite that will continue to be a force for the left and for good in society, and we are not backing down. Solidarity, comrades, get behind Steve.
Fantastic. Thanks for that. I wish everybody could unmute and give the same applause to a fantastic contribution there. A bit like Sakina, you know, I didn't know if I had to start after Sakina. She laid it all out, and then you come in and you give it everything that you give it as well. So, you know, fantastic. The energy, the passion, the program actually that we've worked so hard to put together over the course of the last week or so really is going to take us on that next stage of our journey, identifying, all of those priority areas for us. Howard laid it out there. It's not just about inside our union. I've always said that I never leave my union at the factory gate or the office door. It comes back into our community. We're part of a social movement. We're at the forefront of building and supporting so many of those organisations that have moved the agenda left in our society, from the wonderful People's Assembly that I'm very proud to chair, and he's marching. So get on the streets this Saturday in London. If you can't get to London and you can't get on the streets with us, then do something in your own town, your own city, your own community. And if there's no People's Assembly there, then form one. Get together with like-minded people and build an organisation we can be proud of to take our agenda forward. Or, a whole host of other organisations that we've supported, that we've been very proud to support. We're all at risk. And this is the challenge for us now. And that's why I want to thank each and every one of you. This has been a fantastic campaign. It's been a campaign full of hope. It's had a very clear vision for the future, and it's been a positive campaign. We're not running a negative campaign. We've got a really positive, clear agenda that meets the aspirations and the hopes of not just our members, but ordinary working people, their families and their communities. And that's what we've gone out into workplaces, into pubs now they're open, of course, on the bus, in our community centres, in our homes, wherever those discussions are taking place. Our discussion of hope and opportunity, a clear vision with a passion, is the one that we're discussing and others are discussing with us. And that's bringing thousands of people with us on this journey. I just want to reference the level of support you've got. This is not me. I've always said my charter, my manifesto was not written on a sofa in South East London. This has been written over 39 years of experience in our union. All of those conversations that we've had with shop stewards committees, with individual members, with activists, with disgruntled members that are desperate for support but can't get it. All of those meetings we've had in our regions by Zoom over the last year because we couldn't meet physically. It's in this way, collectively, that we've designed our manifesto, our charter for change. And that charter for change is a real resonance. It's no accident that we received 525 nominations from branches and workplaces, far outstripping any other candidate in this election. That's why we've now got, with Howard's support here, of course, we've now got 10 out of 10 regional administrations backing our campaign. We've got every senior officer in the union. We've got 4 out of 5 assistant general secretaries backing us. We've got 19 out of 21 national officers backing us. We've got the overwhelming majority of local regional officers supporting us. And that's what you need if you're going to unite our union. And we are going to unite our union to face up to the challenges that we face. The depth and breadth of that campaign, none of this just happened. Nothing just happens in life. You have to make change. And that's what we're doing here. You've inspired people to come with us. And that's why I'm always forever indebted to you. Your team, Steve. It's not about me. Your team, Steve. And that's what makes us powerful. That's what makes us so great, a force for good, as we enter into the next phase of this campaign. And what an extraordinary year we've been through. We've got huge challenges in front of us, of course, but we've got huge opportunities as well. And I always say it, we now face those challenges of recovery from Brexit. Of course, we've still got the fallout from Brexit, and we made a decision, but we've got to deal with the industrial and the social implications of that. We've got to deal with COVID recovery and how we rebuild from COVID. We've got the challenges of automation, digitalization, artificial intelligence coming into our workplaces across every sector of our economy. We've got the new added challenges of home working and surveillance at home and the right to switch off and all of those new issues that have confronted us in the last year more so than ever before. We've had the obscenity of fire and rehire, with employers thinking they can use COVID as a smokescreen to attack our terms and conditions of employment. But I always recognise that while that's now on our agenda, for decades, for generations, that's been the industrial reality for 75% of UK workers who simply go to work without a union, without a union voice, without a collective agreement, without shop stewards or a union officer to protect them. That's hire and fire, the way in which employers deploy it and have done for generations. So fire and rehire, that's a huge challenge for us to get that outlawed. But while we wait for the law to change, we fight it industrially. And I'm so proud of the work of our stewards, our activists, our officers supporting our people, Howard and his legal team, everybody that's standing up to those challenges right now, fighting back and making our union relevant in those workplaces that we organise in. And then we've got the huge challenge that Sakina identified at the very beginning of this, of climate change and the climate crisis, and how we green our economy, not just here at home, but across the globe. And we make sure that workers' voices, our voices, are at the centre of that debate, and that we leave nobody, we leave no worker, no workplace, no family, no community behind on our journey to transition our economy. So we reject that return to the old normal. We know what the old normal was pre-COVID, of low pay, of insecure work, of 0 hours contracts, of food banks, clothing banks, growing unemployment, reliance on universal credit, now the attack on the £20 uplift, and its failure to provide that £20 even to some of the most desperate in society that were on legacy benefits, that they refused, the obscenity of refusing to pay that £20 to all of those that were struggling already and continue to struggle all the way through. It's our duty, it's our responsibility to lead the fight for that fairer, greener, more equal society. And if you're going to do that, then there can be no return to that old normal in our union either. And that's why we've laid out our programme for change in our union. We're incredibly proud of our achievements, as I said earlier, not just of the last 10 years or the last 15 years that Unite has existed. Throughout our working lives, we've stood there in our legacy unions for working people, ordinary, hard-working people that would be abused and exploited at will by employers if we allow them to get away with it. And that's where trade unions have stood up. They've stood up in the past, and we're incredibly proud of those that came before us, the terms and conditions that we inherited, the jobs we inherited from the struggles of the past. And I'll finish on that a little later. So look, we're proud of our £45 million strike fund. We're very proud of our £70 a day strike pay. We will not allow any of our members, not a single one of our members, to be starved back to work when they're fighting back against an employer that wants to attack their terms and conditions of employment. I'm incredibly proud. We've never repudiated any action being taken by our members, despite the best efforts of employers to force us down the road of issuing repudiation letters and running away, hiding in a corner from our members. And that's largely, again, down to Howard and his legal team and the fantastic work that they do to protect our union and protect our members. Because if we run away, then where does that leave our members? Where does that leave our class? If we betray our responsibility to our members, we'll have nothing left to offer ordinary working people and their families. So, we brought our union together over the last 10 years. We got that fighting back culture. We are the most progressive force for change for working people in our nations. And now we have to protect the jobs of today, but also fight for the jobs of tomorrow. And that is about shaping the future of work, being confident about our ability to lead the fight for full employment, for decent jobs, for well-paid, secure, unionised jobs, to fight for shared work, for shorter working time, to fight for our fair share of the commonwealth that we create. And if a full-time job is 20 hours a week, but we share that work equally and equally share the wealth we create, then we start to live as human beings in a civilised society. And that's our challenge for the generation to come. The reality is we've run an incredibly positive campaign full of energy and passion with that vision for our union. And that's about a programme. And that programme, Howard outlined a whole host of it, and I'm not going to repeat it now, but for well-trained, confident reps, a welcome home for all of the talents inside our union. We'll build our collective leadership. We'll decentralise our union as appropriate. We'll review our structures. We'll think about federalism and what the federalism argument means to our trade union. We'll open access to our union 24/7 with that Unite Assist app, with that free phone that enables people to call their union. One call, that's all, where people at the end, our people, no call centre or outsourced operation, our people, they own it, they log it, they act on it, they follow it up. One call, that's all. Incredibly important to our members. We'll support our workplaces and our branches. We'll digitalise and modernise our union. We're going to introduce that innovation program. We're going to talk about Unite TV. It's going to be a fantastic initiative to sell our argument, our messages, our struggles to the wider world. And we're going to put organising support where you need it. In our regions, supporting our workplace reps, supporting our officers, working as one, as a team inside Unite, not separate entities. And we'll make sure our union looks and sounds like us, like the great women and BAEM members, the LGBT plus community that we welcome into our union, of course. We need to make sure that we look and we sound like our membership. And we're going to do all that we can to open access to our union. We're going to put creches into our conferences. We're going to remove all of the obstacles to participation in our union. But we're going to do more than that. We are going to have that apprenticeship scheme for officers and for staff. We are going to recruit from within. We are going to employ the talents of our union that have got a passion about trade unionism, but perhaps not the skills to do the job. Well, we're going to inherit and bring in and welcome the passion, and we're going to give them the skills to do the job. And we're going to establish that industrial strategy and green transition team. We are going to make sure that working people and our voices are at the forefront of that changing economy. I've got that green print for jobs that we're going to launch. We're going to launch that next week, a green print for jobs, which is a first in our movement. But it puts us, it puts Unite, it puts me, it puts this campaign, it puts us at centre stage in the debate about our working people shape the future of work. So I understand, I'm not naive, I understand the challenges that we've got in front of us, but I'm excited like you are. I'm really excited about the opportunities. I always say I've walked in your shoes, and I have for 39 years as a shop steward, as an officer, now as a very proud Assistant General Secretary. I've listened and I've learned and I've led on my journey, and I'll continue to listen and to learn as General Secretary of this union. None of this just happens, colleagues. None of it. So now's the time for us to leave our mark on a very proud history. Be confident about our future. Be confident about our program and our capabilities, our understanding of the need to shape it, to own it and to deliver it. And not just for us, ourselves, but for generations to come. We always say that we stand on the shoulders of giants, and we do. I want those that write history in 30 and 40 and 50 years' time to write about today's giants. And today's giants are you. Every single one of you that's going to shape the future of our society as we recover and rebuild from COVID. We are the giants of tomorrow, just as our forefathers and our foremothers were the giants we're proud to walk in the shadow of. So I'm incredibly excited about our campaign. I'm incredibly excited about the materials, the messaging, the narrative, all the things that Lou's now going to talk to you about when I've finished. I speak for Britain sometimes, and I can speak far too long. Everybody understands that knows me. But the reality is I've got a passion about what we're doing, the challenge in front of us. We are not going to let down our movement, our union or our class. Failure at this point is not just unthinkable, it will be disastrous for our movement, our wider class. And that is not something that we will entertain, not for 1 second during the course of this campaign. So join us on this journey. I'm so proud. I'm really happy to have Howard with us, to have Howard's team with us. I know we've got to build some bridges throughout our union, throughout our movement, and that's fine. That's our challenge. That's what we're here to do. We will do that, and we will now move forward together. We can and we will make that difference. Together we can and we will win. So solidarity, comrades.